Welcome aboard. Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, good evening, and welcome to Spokane, Washington, and the Carenado B1900D. Now, you may have noticed this is not an FS Passengers video, and we are not in Europe, and that's because we are just going to be doing a practice flight with the B1900D today. This practice flight has been requested by Al Capone, who requested that we fly from Spokane, Washington to Boise, Idaho. So we're going to go ahead and honor Mr. Capone's request because it seems like a foolish thing to refuse Al Capone. So we've got our boarding complete. We've just got, since this is a test flight, we are just using test dummies, so there are not actual people on board the aircraft. So I'm going to go ahead and enable my track IR really quick. Ooh, head snapping. There we go. Alright, so first thing we need to do, I have ported my checklists for the B1900D. I did not like Carenado's checklists, so I went and looked up a couple of different ones that were based off of real life and kind of bashed them together. So it's not perfect, but I feel like it's better than the one Carenado gave. So let me just pull it up on my Kindle here. OneNote badge. No, later. Okay. Cockpit preparation. Make sure the parking brake is set, which it is. Fuel panel test is performed. I'm not sure what the fuel panel test is, so I'm going to skip that. Aircraft documentation is on board. Oxygen system is ready to go. Our battery can be turned on. Fuel quantity needs to be checked, which we are good on fuel. This is only going to be about an hour flight, so that's kind of overkill. Okay, left and right feet enunciators are off. Left and right circuit breakers are all in, those are not modeled. Left and right static compass. I'm not sure what the static compass is. I don't think we have one actually. Because I believe the static compass is the backup compass. And oh wait, is this it here? No, that's the backup, but I'm not sure how to change it from, it's saying have one on normal and one on slave, so I'm not sure what exactly that means. I doubt we could do it anyway. Alright, so our engine anti-ice needs to come on, because in this plane, the engine anti-ice is always on when you're on the ground, to stop debris from getting in the engine. Alright, landing gear and alternate, down and checked. Master panel enunciator, check, nothing unusual there, everything's what we would expect. Propeller levers need to go up to taxi. Alright, condition levers are on cutoff. Trim should be zeroed. Yep. Stall warning checked. Let's see, where is the stall warning? I know there's one on here somewhere. There we go. Alright, battery off, and at this point we would conduct the external check, which we wouldn't, so we're just going to leave the battery on and move to the before start, of which the first thing is battery on. Cabin signs on. That would be right there. Alright, pressurization needs to be set, so we're going to be climbing at 13,000 feet today. Let me just get over to the central panel. So, for an altitude of 13,000 feet, oh wait, this is cabin altitude. Altitude feet. I thought the top was, like, where you are, though. Oh, I guess you don't want to pressurize it. Wait, cabin oh, cabin, aircraft. Nope, aircraft is on the bottom. Cabin's on the top. Oop. Okay, so we are going to be at about, I guess that makes more sense. Wait, so we're going to want our cabin altitude goal actually sea level. Because it says it wants sea level for 15,000 or below, so... Let's see, 8 feet. I think that's as close as we're going to get. Okay. Pressurization set. Bleed air valves should be open. There we go. Tail bar, we don't have one. Cargo and passenger doors are closed. Start clearance needs to be obtained. So in order to get the start clearance, of course, we need to get our avionics on first. Alright, Spokane clearance.
Spokane clearance delivery, November 7779er Echo. IFR to Boise, ready to copy.
November 7779er Echo. Cleared Boise Airport to file. Fly runway heading. Climb and maintain 9,000. Departure frequency is 123.75. Squawk 0456.
November 7779er Echo. Cleared Boise Airport as filed. Fly runway heading. Climb and maintain 9,000. Departure on 123.75. Squawk 0456.
79er Echo. Feedback correct. Contact ground on 121.9er.
Alright, so we're getting ready for start, so we will go ahead and get our taxi clearance now.
Spokane ground, November 7779er Echo, with Delta, ready to taxi. IFR.
November 7779er Echo. Taxi 2 and hold short of runway 3 via taxiway Alpha 2 Alpha. Contact tower on 118.3 when ready.
Taxi 2 and hold short, runway 3, using taxiway Alpha 2 Alpha, 79er Echo.
Okay, so 3. Oop, come on. There we go. Means it'll be in the ballpark of about 30 degrees. Alright. Alright, so now next is going to be pushing back. So we'll contact our ramp manager, prepare for pushback and departure. We're going to be going, looks like, tail left. Yeah, we'll go, no, tail right. Nope, engines will be starting during pushback. It's kind of a big tug for this little plane.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
Get a sip of my coffee while he does his thing.
Locking gear. Departure check completed. Pipe has been inserted. Release parking brakes. Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at wheel.
Alright, so that's the clearance to start the engines. So, according to the checklist, navigation lights are on, beacon lights are on, engine area is clear, propeller lever is set to taxi, condition lever 1 is at low idle. Alright, and then engage engine 1. Get our taxi lights on now as well. Alright, so now we're just monitoring our fuel flow and our oil pressure. Everything's looking good. Let's get some lights on in here as well.
Set parking brakes.
now we can go ahead and cut in the left generator. And we'll go ahead and do the same thing with number 2 engine. Whoops, that's the generator.
Unlocking gear.
Just monitoring our gauges.
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass being removed.
Alright, we're all good. Cut in the right generator. And get the starters off. Check our inverter. Is
Left
on.
is clear. Right is clear.
See lights. Okay, radar and GPS standby and on. Okay. CVR and FDR tests. That's cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder. Most likely not modeled. Nav aids and course will be set, so we're going to be on a heading hold. Altitude select. And where is our autopilot master? Is that like down here? Yeah, that's annoying. Okay. We should probably get our FMC on as well. It will auto-load our FSX flight plan. It's a very simple FMC. Alright, so taxi lights are on, autopilot is off, anti-ice. We should probably have it. I actually didn't check ATIS, and I should have. Do we have anything to indicate the exterior temperature in the cockpit? Not at first glance, so I'm just going to go ahead and say, since there's snow on the ground, it's probably icing conditions. So we will go ahead and prop de-ice auto. Okay, fuel vents, control surface, windshield. Let's turn it all on. Pitot, alt static, and brake de-ice. Okay. Okay, so now we're up to the before takeoff checklist, so we can do that once we get to the runway. So let me get my foot untangled from my wires there. There we go. That's a safety hazard. Alright. Let's get rolling. Just double checking our lights are good. So I have actually recorded this video before, and found out that my voice did not record for it, so I get to do it again. So unfortunately this is not my real first flight in the 1900D, but I'm still by no means an expert with it. Absolutely no means. So if I'm doing something wrong, or if you guys notice that something I have on my checklist is out of order, please, please, please tell me. I'm gonna set our flaps while I'm thinking about it. Make sure we are set to the GPS for our nav source. Local time is not even 4 o'clock, and it's already kind of like evening. Though we are pretty far north, so... I mean, not like Alaska north, but still pretty far north. All the bumps what we're feeling in the taxiway are from AccuFeel. Great add-on by A2A. Also in another add-on by A2A that I've added in is 3D lights. So if it's dark while we're landing in Boise, we might get to see that. It's still too light really to see the lighting effects, especially the taxi lights. So.
Approaching 07, approaching 07, approaching 07, approaching 07.
I'm thinking it might have been a mistake to get the grass add-on. It is extremely annoying. Alright, so here we are at the runway. Is this close enough to contact tower? Yep, okay, so we'll go ahead and do our first before takeoff checklist. Alright, engine and flight instruments. Alright, no flags, nothing major. We'll go ahead, we need to get our brake anti-ice off, because if that is on, let's see, I know I put on brake anti-ice. Where was that? There it is. Brake de-ice. Because if that is on, if we need to really hit the brakes hard during takeoff, like for rejected takeoff, that could cause a fire. So our brakes should be nice and warmed up by now. Okay. Before takeoff flaps are set for takeoff, correct? Yes, they are. Okay, trimmers set and check. Takeoff data reviewed. Flight director as required. Okay, so everything here is good. How is our... I think we need to reset our compass here. Yes, we certainly do. That's irritating. Gonna have to keep an eye on that. Alright. So now our below the line check. Well, we need to get clearance first. Request takeoff clearance.
Tower, November 777 Niner Echo, ready to go. Runway 3, IFR to Boise.
November 777 Niner Echo, cleared for takeoff, runway 3.
Alright, cleared for takeoff, runway 3.
Takeoff, runway 3, November 777 Niner Echo.
Alright, so our auto ignition needs to be armed, which it is. Okay, engine anti-ice now needs to come off. Alright. Pitot heat is on, propeller levers need to come full forward, so do our condition levers. Transponder and TCAS is set. Bleed air valves are set. Annunciators considered and checked. Exterior lights are on. Where's auto feather? Auto feather should have been in there somewhere. Oh, I missed auto feather in the first part of that checklist. So we'll go ahead and engage that. We'll arm auto feather. All right, and let's get on the runway.
Approaching 03, approaching 03.
Oh, come on, I'm not even on the brakes. I just turned the throttle down once we started going. Alright. So the good thing about having dummies in the back instead of passengers is, shouldn't get any screaming. Shouldn't. Alright.
On runway 03, on runway 03.
And let's punch it. Takeoff power set. Kind of hard to keep this plane centered, actually. Okay, gear coming up. Okay, so note to self, I really need to work on my takeoff rolls. Okay, we are now going flaps up.
79er Echo. Contact Spokane departure on 123.75.
123.75, 79er Echo. Spokane departure, November 7779er Echo is at 3,400, climbing 9,000. November 7779er Echo, Spokane departure, roger, altimeter 2992. 79er Echo, turn right, heading 145, resume on navigation, climb and maintain 9,000. Turn right, heading 145, proceed on course, climb and maintain 9,000. 79er Echo.
Alright.
79er Echo, contact Spokane departure on 133.35. Going to 133.35, 79er Echo. Spokane departure, November 7779er Echo.
We'll get this turn completed,
For 9,000.
and then engage the autopilot and go through our after takeoff checklists.
Roger. Altimeter 2992. 79er Echo. Turn right heading 175.
Turn right, heading 175, 79er Echo.
Contact Spokane departure on 123.75.
123.75, 479er Echo. Spokane departure, November 7779er Echo is climbing through 6,400 for 9,000. November 7779er Echo, Spokane departure, roger, altimeter 2992.
Alright, autopilot, you got the plane? Why don't you want to climb? Alt cell. Alt cell. No, I don't want altitude hold. No, I want alt cell. Oh, you worked last time. Let's see, where's our...
79er Echo, turn left heading 150, resume on navigation. Turn left heading 150, resume on navigation. 79er Echo.
And resume on navigation so we can get our nav hold in. Altitude select, please. Okay, let's go ahead and run through our after takeoff checklist, and we'll go right into the climb checklist after that. So after takeoff, landing gear is up, yaw damper is engaged, taxi lights need to come off. And hide that autopilot for now. Flaps are up. Bleed air valves are open. Alright, cabin pressure is checked.
Niner Echo, climb and maintain 13,000. Climb and maintain 13,000. Echo.
Alright, climb altimeter standby and checked. Landing and tail lights. Well, we're not above 10,000 yet, so we're going to leave the landing lights on. Pressurization is still good. Ice protection is still good. Cabin signs are still good. So we need to... Probably now would be a good time to pull our propeller levers back from full forward. Down there. I think that's just left auto feather, right auto feather. Okay. Alright, and then once we're in the cruise, that's when... Oh wait, we're above 10,000, we can get those landing lights off. Alright, let's take a look outside. Now, remember, I do not have any land class mods for North America. I just have the FTX Global and FTX Vector, which are global modifications, but the land class menu, or the land class mod only affects Europe, the one that I have. Still looks pretty good. I mean, remember it's winter time, so everything's gonna look kind of bleak. I actually... Oh, but we have a warning. Cabin difference high. What do we have here? Maybe crank it up a little bit. Say 1,000 feet. Why am I looking at this for... What? That doesn't make sense.
Going. Bravo, Golf Juliet.
I didn't set the cabin altitude rate. Okay. That's probably what it is.
Contact Seattle Center on 123.905.
123.905, Echo.
Hopefully we don't get, like, you know, explosive decompression or something. What the heck? This doesn't make sense. What the heck are you... I just went from 10 to minus 200 and now it's like... What the heck is going on? You know what? I'm just ignoring that. I need to clear that warning though. Okay, well, it'll work eventually, probably. And if not, we'll just all die. Alright, I need to contact Seattle.
Center, November 7779er Echo, with you.
November 7779er Echo, Seattle Center, roger. Altimeter 299er 2.
Alright. Let me click away, sorry, to pause my track IR. Let's take a look outside. Not a bad looking airplane at all. Alright guys, since this is not our airplane, you know, quote unquote our airplane, I'm not going to do the glamour shots today, so I will just bring you back when we're getting ready for our descent into Boise. So, talk to you in a second. Alright everybody, welcome back. We just, after a little bit of a conversation with ATC, they tried giving us expect vector's visual runway 10 left approach, and I was like, no. So, oh, they're gonna do this thing again where 500 feet is not enough. Okay. Let's go 1,000 feet per minute then. But yeah, they tried giving us 10 left, so I just went through the request and was like, hey, can we please have ILS for 10 right and runway 10 right? So that's what we got. So we are descending to 8,200 on a course of 210, expecting vectors for the ILS approach for 10 right at Boise, which I've already gone ahead and programmed in. So we've got our localizer is correct there. We'll just go ahead and switch over to the correct nav mode before I forget. We should be all set now. We can go ahead and do our our descent checklist. Our approach briefing is completed. We'll just say we did one. Landing data is confirmed. Pressurization, we did get that fixed, so that is set and checked. Cabin signs, I never turned them off. So there we go.
Left heading 175, descend and maintain 8,200. 79er Echo.
175. See, it is getting pretty close to night, even though our flight has only lasted about an hour or so. It's probably only about 4:30 or 5 o'clock local time. I forgot to start my flight timer on my yoke, so I can't tell you exactly. But I know we left, I almost said Seattle, not Seattle, Spokane, or Spokane, however you want to pronounce it. We left there around 4:30 local time, so... Sorry, not 4:30, we left there around 3:30 local time, so it's probably only like 4:30 or 5. Well, I'm not sure. There's not a difference a time difference between Spokane and Boise, is there? I'm not sure. We're going to want to get our speed down too. We've broken 10,000 feet, so we need to go ahead and get our landing lights on, as well as, let's see if we can just brighten everything up here.
79er Echo,
want to turn those back off. Wait, where's the floodlights? I just turned floodlights on. I want to turn them back off. No, that's what I want on. Oh, I want those on too. Okay, well, I did it somehow. 5,800.
Turn right, heading 195, descend and maintain 5,800.
One thing at a time, lady.
Heading 195, descend and maintain 5,800. 79er Echo.
And now we are going, turn right, heading 195.
Please expedite your descent to 5,800.
There. Let's see if we can see those 3D lights. Kind of. It might not work on add-on planes, I'm actually not sure.
Boise departure Beach, November 1119 is at 3,000, climbing 12,000.
Beach, November 1119, Boise departure, roger, altimeter 2992. Beach 190, turn left heading 235, proceed on course, climb and maintain 12,000.
Turn left heading 235, resume on navigation, climb and maintain 12,000.
That beeping was just, I pulled the throttle back too much and it was like, hey, you don't have your landing gear out. We need to get some. We need to slow down some more.
Orbit 9033, Boise departure, roger, altimeter 2992. Orbit 9033, turn left heading 095, proceed on course, climb and maintain 15,000.
Turn left heading 095, resume on navigation, climb and maintain 15,000. Orbit 9033.
Alright, so you do have the glide slope and localizer alive. And we're coming up on our assigned altitude.
16 miles northwest, turn left heading 135, descend and maintain 4,100, cleared ILS, runway 10, right, approach, maintain 4,100 until established on the localizer. Contact Boise Tower on 118.
Turn left heading 135, descend and maintain 4,100, cleared ILS, runway 10, right, approach, maintain 4,100 until established. Tower on 118.179er Echo. Boise Tower, November 7779er Echo, is 15 miles northwest, inbound ILS, runway 10, right, approach. November 7779er Echo, Boise Tower, fly straight in, runway 10, right, altimeter 2992.
Alright.
Straight in, runway 10, right, 79er Echo.
Before landing checklist, our altimeters are set, landing lights are on, nav aids are set, auto feather is armed. Okay. Ice protection is as required, landing gear needs to come down. We are within the safe arc. Alright. Taxi lights are on, flaps are set, propellers are full forward. Yaw damper needs to come off. There we go, there's the yaw damper off. Alright. And we are good. That nice loud rumble from the landing gear being down. Oh shoot, we need to arm nav. Sorry, approach. See if it'll take it. Alright, there we are. Capturing the localizer. Man, I remember that just in time. Really need that. I really need to map that autopilot quick disconnect button. Slow right down. All right. I think the problem with the autopilot's like not picking up the localizer very well is just the air traffic control just gives us like too sharp of an angle to intercept it on. How are we on the glide slope? We're about to hit the glide slope.
79er Echo, cleared to land. Runway 10 right.
And there's our landing clearance.
Cleared to land. Runway 10 right. 79er Echo.
So our decision height is set to 500, at which point we will disengage the autopilot and land it manually. And that's 500 radar. We are kind of slightly off center. Go ahead and disengage the autopilot early.
Flaps. 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 Flaps.
I guess they weren't happy with my flap setting. Ooh, all that light blue.
Approaching 10 right. Approaching 10 right.
All that light bloom though, it's like going through the cockpit. Might be a little much. Oh. What's that?
Unstable. 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 Unstable.
500. We're way off center line. Alright, it could have been worse. We'll have lots of time to practice in this plane.
79er Echo, turn next taxiway.
Okay, which way do you think they're gonna? Probably to the left. I'm gonna try my luck going right, see what happens.
Echo, contact ground on 121.7. 121.779er Echo.
Yeah, that light bloom probably needs to come off. That's kind of ridiculous. Okay.
Boise Brown, November 7779er Echo, taxi to the gate. November 7779er Echo, taxi to the gate. 10 via taxiway Bravo 1, runway 10, right Echo Alpha.
Okay.
Taxiing to gate 10.
Whatever you say, ground.
Taxiway Bravo 1, runway 10.
I'm on Bravo 1. Oh, God. Okay, after landing, flaps are up. Trim needs to be reset to neutral. Okay. Transponder and TCAS on standby. Don't think we actually can do anything there. I mean, I can turn it off, but it's not standby. Alright, radar can be off. We actually can't turn that off. So, engine ice needs to come on. Alright, auto ignition can come off. Ice protection still as required. Exterior lights, meaning landing lights. Oh, come on. I have trouble getting these click spots with track IR. Off, and then strobe and beacon to ground. Alright, decision height set 0, but I don't really care. Fine, let's do it. Decision height 0. Okay. Now let's flip around so we can please our air traffic control overlords. Or, I guess this wouldn't be air traffic control, this would be ground traffic control. Oh, come on. I hate the friction in this plane. I know that's more or less like an FSX thing, but some planes really do a good job of getting rid of that. You know what? That's Echo right there. I'm just going to Echo. Because they asked me to take Echo, correct? Yep, Echo to Alpha. So why would I taxi on the runway? Wait.
Approaching
TO.
28 left. Approaching
Oh, okay.
28 left.
Oh, come on. I swear, I get rolling and then I decrease the power because if you don't, you're gonna, like, take off. I decrease the power and it just rolls right to a stop. So this plane definitely has some quirks that I need to get used to.
Approaching 10 left. Approaching 10 left.
But overall, I like it. Since when do they ever hold a plane for cars? Ever. Oh, let's see. Okay. Get that out of the way. Let's get the parking brake on. Alright. Time for shutdown checklist. Parking brake on. GPS and radar off. Can't do that. Avionics can come off. Alright, inverter. That's up here. Can come off. Well, let's turn on the cabin floodlights. Can't turn on the cabin floodlights. Come on. Overhead panel. Cabin floodlights. Overhead floodlights. I don't know what's going on with these. Okay, well, we're gonna need all these off anyway, so we might as well just... What? Why did that turn off my floodlights? I'm so confused with these. Okay. Floodlight. Okay, so those are the same. Everything else is set to off. I feel like that didn't... This isn't wheeling around. And it's like causing everything to... I really don't know what's going on. I don't know. Okay. I need to get all these switched off. Well, actually, our beacon should still be on because the engines are still on. Yeah, okay, the lights in this plane are buggy as hell. Alright, ITT is stabilized and not fluctuating, so we can go ahead and pull the condition levers to cut off. Pull them too far and hit the change button number. Alright. Then feathering. Auto feather. Off. Battery and generators checked. Okay, oxygen system can go off. Battery and generators off. Bus ties off too. And all the anti-ice off. Alright, shut off the beacon light. See what I mean about the click spots being... There we go. Alright guys, well that is going to end this video. Got a few things we got to get used to with this plane. But that's me just turning off my Kindle, because I don't need those checklists anymore for tonight. But anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you, Al Capone, for requesting this flight. It's a pretty interesting one. Lots of high terrain around, so... yeah, I mean, nothing dangerous, but it was just kind of cool to look at. And next time you see this plane, it will be in an FS Passengers video, which will be pretty soon. It'll actually be the... I got one more PC-12 video to do, and then we'll be jumping into this plane, so I will see you then. But until then, have a good one.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, we certainly hope you enjoyed flying Shadow Transit, and we hope to see you soon.